Did you know your TV can now access BBC Sounds? You can listen to the best music, podcasts and live radio without leaving your sofa. So, if you're feeling chill or you're in the mood to throw some couch shapes, we've got you sorted. Or you can listen to my Radio 2 breakfast show. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Good morning. It's a scene that is both reassuringly familiar, but one that never fails to excite. Opening morning in the Crucible Theatre. It's packed and it's buzzing with anticipation ahead of a 17-day sporting marathon. In just a few moments' time, the defending champion, Ronnie O'Sullivan, will walk into this arena in his quest to win this beautiful trophy for an outright record 8th time. Who can stop him? And indeed, who will wear the crown if not him? Get the supplies in, because we're not going to know the answers to those questions until the 1st of May. Let the snooker marathon commence. So here we go, eh? And, well, we've got two brilliant former champions in Steve Davis and John Parrott. No matter how often we come back here, you two are just like kids on Christmas morning, aren't you? What's so magical about this morning for you?
I've got
John?
sweaty palms already. I'm not even playing. It's just a venue that's all of its own, one of the most iconic venues. You know it's the best tournament in the world. And I always think this is a bit like watching the box sets we've got obsessed with at home. You know you're going to get to the conclusion, but there's a lot of subplots and twists before you get there. And every match here will tell its own story.
It will indeed. Man of the moment is Ronnie O'Sullivan, the defending champion. Now, what do you make of his preparations in the build-up to what could be an outright record 8th win here at the Crucible? It's quite a task.
OK, well, you talk about preparations during the season and how he's done. I don't think it's as important as how he's prepared for this event, because regardless of what form a player comes into this event with, and there are a couple of players this year, have had, well, 3 players, maybe Robert Milkins included, as well as Mark Allen, Sean Murphy, they've had fantastic seasons. This is its standalone event. And even if you've got form, it can crumble before you get here. You have to prove your form at this venue. So therefore, the likes of Ronnie O'Sullivan and the tried and tested players here, they come with a little bit more, not baggage, but a little bit more weight behind them.
Absolutely. So man of the moment, but not man of the season, as you say. Whose case is strongest for you? I mean, Steve's mentioned some great names. Mark Allen, obviously, Sean Murphy, Mark Selby, waiting at the bottom of the draw, aiming for a 5th world title.
I think he's very dangerous. I think he's just starting to come to the boil. Won 2 events this season. Lost 10-9 to Sean in the last event that he played in, but you know he's a course and distance winner 4 times here. This is where he gets at his best. You're basically asking Usain Bolt to run over 1,500 metres when you play Mark in the smaller events. When he comes here, this is where he gets at his best. I think he'll have a big say in this tournament. OK, what about the lightly raced horses? Because we know there have been, 15 different winners of the 20 events on tour this season. But Neil Robertson and John Higgins, 2 brilliant performers here, have had a quiet time. Is that to their benefit for them to be fresher, do you reckon?
I haven't got a clue. No, there's no way of knowing.
That's why he's here, folks.
There's no way of knowing. The only thing I can be sure of, and we've had confirmation from some of the crowd, some interior designers, hopefully in the crowd, it's a new carpet.
Oh, right.
OK. And World Snooker have splashed out on this carpet, although I think maybe they got it from Facebook Marketplace for the bit behind me. But the players that have had bad form coming into this, they've got to hope that they can find it here. It's not the easiest place to find form here, but if you get on a run and the first week goes well for you, you can build on that.
OK, well, this may be day one on the new carpet here in the Crucible Theatre, but the World Championship is actually already 10 days old because the qualifying campaign got underway a week past on Wednesday. It didn't, a week past on Monday, I beg your pardon, didn't finish till late on Wednesday evening. Big shout out to Jimmy White. At the age of 60, appeared for the 43rd time in this championship. Sadly, didn't make it. But in terms of drama and tension, the qualifiers were off the chart this time. It all came down to Judgment Day. 16 places left to be claimed at the Crucible. New faces and regulars all bidding for success at the English Institute of Sport in Sheffield. Now, the only former world champion in the draw, Graham Doss, struggled with a shoulder injury. Matthew Selt took advantage to book his 4th Crucible appearance a decade after his first.
I've been working hard on my game. I've been playing well the last 3 or 4 months, so you know, it is an opportunity to play well there and to hopefully notch up a win, my first win, which would be great, and then see what would happen.
2 other familiar faces missed out after long runs at the famous theatre. Stephen Maguire's been here every year since 2004, but Fan Jianji brought that sequence to an end and booked his debut appearance. It was the same story for Barry Hawkins, who has a final and 4 semi-finals on his CV, but he went down to Welshman Jack Jones, who's heading to the biggest event of his career.
I didn't think it bothered me that much playing there, but now that I've qualified, can't wait to get there.
There was an empty table for the final session of the 2 Judgment Days as Scott Donaldson had to withdraw for medical reasons, giving Ryan Day a free passage. And on the next door table, Mark Davis faced losing his place on the tour after 32 years with anything other than victory over his best friend Joe Perry. All came down to the final frame and Davis needed pink for victory.
And he's missed it, or has he? Has he missed it? Oh, wow.
In snooker terms, you know, it doesn't get any closer as mates on the tour, and I knew what was at stake for him. It's a horrible thing to have to go through. It's going to happen to all of us eventually, but you know, when it happens, it's not a nice thought. And it happened to be me that had to play him at the end.
Dramatic stuff, eh? And on Thursday morning, the 16 seeds were drawn against the 16 qualifiers. Defending champion O'Sullivan meets Pang Junchu. Pang is one of 4 Chinese debutants this year and 5 new boys in total. Ronnie has a resurgent Ding Junhui in his quarter of the draw. And there are another 3 dangerous world champs lurking here as well. Mark Williams, Sean Murphy, arguably playing the best snooker of anyone right now. And last year's runner-up, Judd Trump, who has a really tough opener against former semi-finalist Anthony McGill. And good to see Welsh Open champion Rob Milkins at the age of 47 become a seeded player for the very first time. Now, the bottom half of the draw is also stacked with Crucible pedigree. Stuart Bingham, Neil Robertson, John Higgins and number 2 seed Mark Selby at the bottom of the order are all world champs. Selby well fancied to challenge for a 5th world title. And down here, you'll also see Northern Ireland's Mark Allen, man of the season after 3 big wins. Former Crucible finalists Ali Carter and Kyron Wilson have both won titles this term too. And don't forget Gary Wilson and qualifier Ryan Day have lifted silverware this term as well. It is stacked. It sure is. In fact, John, when you look down at that draw, 17 players of the 32 have made it to the 1 table stage, at least in this championship. What do you make of the quality this year?
I think it's the best I've ever seen assembled. I genuinely do. I think the top 16 is as good as it gets, and the qualifiers and some of the matches we're going to have in the first round with the quality of the qualifiers as good as we've seen here.
Yeah, we got 5 debutants, as I was saying, 4 of them Chinese. Now, this is a very difficult time for Chinese snooker, and indeed for snooker generally, because there are another 10 Chinese players who will have a hearing into allegations of match fixing a week on Monday. So that really is a big moment for the sport whilst we're here at the championship, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's really changed since we spoke at the Masters, but you know, the cloud that hangs over the game, I think, really does hang over those players, not necessarily the game. I think everybody knows that the players here are on, you know, foot to the floor. Tough for the other Chinese players that have qualified. That's not a nice situation to be in, but even so, there's some great debutants here. Not every debutant plays wonderfully here, so expect one of them maybe to struggle in the limelight. But I think, as John said, the standard is so high. I wonder how long it will be before the top 16, the seeded players through, start to say it's a disadvantage being seeded through. Somewhere down the line, that becomes an issue.
OK, well, Ronnie's talked about having to climb the mountain here at the Crucible again, and it all starts now. Even before he strikes the cue ball, he's already set another record, by the way, because he surpasses this man, Steve Davis's consecutive appearances at the Crucible, 30 times for you, 31 for Ronnie. And there might indeed be another record for the Rocket, because if memories are anything to go by as inspiration, he'll draw a lot from 12 months ago.
You never know when it's going to be your last one, so it wouldn't surprise me if that was the last big tournament I won. So it was great to have that moment.
Ronnie O'Sullivan has proved that he is the greatest player in the world. His dream to be 7 times champion of the world has been realised.
There's a lot of talk about it, but there was never really any talk from me. And before it, I was like, you know what, not bothered about records. And now I've equalled it. I'm still not bothered about records. And if I was to beat it, I'm still not bothered about records. It's just like, how do I feel? How am I internally feeling? Obviously, win 1, which is a great feeling. 2, 3, you get excited. 4, 5, you get less exciting as they go on. It's not my fault. It's just that's what happens when you win that amount of tournaments at the same venue. You realise it probably is like a bit of an anticlimax. It's nice to do, but it's not like life-changing in any sort of way, I've got no yardstick there, It's not like someone's got 24 majors, 8, or whatever. It's like I'm just beating myself now. I'm just trying to set records that other people have got to chase. But I'm not really bothered, to be honest with you. I'm like happy in my career and quite content. Got a good perspective on everything now. So it's really hard to find the drive and motivation other than I just like to travel. I like to enjoy myself while I'm away, and it's a nice life, that I've got. No point in me thinking, I've got a long way to go. I'm just thinking about Saturday. After Saturday, if I get through, then I'll think about when I next play, and if I get through that, then I'll start thinking about that match. So just break it down into small segments, I suppose.
And today the defending champion returns to take on 23-year-old qualifier Pang Junxu. Been a pro for 3 years, former Rookie of the Year, vaulted up the world rankings this season to number 35 after a terrific last couple of months, reaching his first world ranking final in Leicester last month, beaten there by Mark Selby. He's brave, he's shown real composure this season, and he's won 2 qualifying matches to get here this week, knocking out a certain former world champion, Mr. Ken Doherty, along the way. So he is waiting along with everyone else. Indeed, there is Stuart Bingham, the 2015 world champion, one of the 4 players in this morning's opening session. He's preparing in very jovial form, looks relaxed, doesn't he, to face one of the most dangerous of the qualifiers, Dave Gilbert, a former semi-finalist here. There is Dave, all waiting in the wings. And the 2023 World Championship starts right now for these men. And it does so with a call from our MC, Mr. Rob Walker.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For 10 long months, the finest players on the planet have circumnavigated the globe in search of glory. But in our sport, all roads always lead back to Yorkshire, back to Sheffield, and back to the iconic Crucible Theatre. Our 17-day marathon is all set to begin. So welcome to the 2023 Kazoo World Snooker Championship. Please welcome a player back for a 9th Crucible campaign after victory over former finalist Matthew Stevens at the qualifiers. A Championship League winner, a semi-finalist here 4 years ago. He's anything but faithless. He's Dave Gilbert. And his opponent, making his 17th Crucible appearance. 23 years after his debut, he's still going strong. Masters champion in 2020. And of course, he won the big one here 8 years ago. Here comes Stuart Ball Run Bingham. On table one, what a moment this is for the first of 5 debutants in this year's championship. Last month, he made his maiden appearance in a ranking final, and today, one of China's brightest young stars is ready to shine on the biggest stage of all. Please welcome Pang Jung-Siew. Chose his own route to the table, and why not? And now, to the greatest player in history, making a record-breaking 31st appearance at the Crucible, world number 1, the reigning, defending champion of the world, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So here we go again, eh? Best of 19 frames in this opening round. A reminder that the Bingham-Gilbert match on table 2 live throughout on the iPlayer BBC Sport website as well. We'll be employing all the platforms available on BBC Sport. But to table 1, there's more history in the making this year in Sheffield, perhaps. It seems only right, therefore, that watching this morning is the joint 7 times record holder, Stephen Hendry, and alongside him in the box, the one and only Mr. John Virgo. Here we go again, fellas.
Thank you, Hazel. Good morning, everybody.
Put your phone down now, please.
Just pause there for Ronnie O'Sullivan to break off, get his championship defence underway. And it's funny, Stephen, isn't it? You know, they start off these matches best of 19. You've been in this position 7 times like Ronnie is now. This first round is always a bit of a banana skin, isn't it?
Well, I was just pausing like you to let Pang Jung-Siew play that first shot. Yeah, it can be, and I'm fascinated to see how Ron O'Sullivan plays this morning. As you see this excellent bit of cueing. I mean, if you're a little bit nervous going out there, that's going to settle you down, give you a bit of confidence. But yeah, you know, the defending champion, he's not coming into this championship with any real form this season, but I don't think it matters to someone like Ronnie, does it? I mean, he took a year out one time and came back and won it. But I don't know, you'd like to have a little bit of form behind you, I would think. But he's not got an easy first round. This guy can play. Very, very solid. Five.
Yeah, so the perfect start, really. Get your hand on the table, get your cue arm going.
Played that quite nicely. He's got a choice of a couple of reds. Plays at Ding Junhui Academy in Sheffield. And whenever I've been in there, he's never off the table. Very, very dedicated. And that's paid off this season. His best season so far as a professional. This is going to have to be a good positional shot. Stun off one cushion. Don't really know the pace of the table until you've played a few shots, but he's played it nicely. Okay, he's run on a little bit, but he had a choice of 3 reds 16. To the right corner pocket.
70.
And this time, inch perfect on the blue.
$22. $23.
Just a fraction short of pace, so he can't get close to the next intended red, as close as he would have liked. So here's a little tester.
$28. $29.
Very crisply struck, that red from mid-distance. Very impressive start. This is, looks very composed.
36.
Quite often you see a debutant in the World Championship in the Crucible, they're almost like a rabbit in the headlights when they're out there.
37.
Looks very calm and composed at the moment. That opening red would be, well, when he's seen that go in, he cued it so well that immediately can just settle you down.
Yeah, this was the opening red. A little bit wide, but managed to struggle in. But he played a poor shot on the last red before the black there. Left himself too straight on the black, so he had to play for the one open red. Imperative now in potting this, get an angle on the colour because there's no other reds available.
45.
So he's going to take some shot here. Obviously you immediately think of blue in and out of balk. Balk cushion, side cushion into the reds.
$50.
So that will be end of break. But at least he didn't miss. You don't mind if you run out of position. And you're back to your seat without any bad thoughts.
Paddington Dew. 50.
Yeah, very nice visit to the table. But you can see the state of the table. All the colours are in the open. No reds on cushions, so even though it's a nice 50-point lead, it wouldn't be long in evaporating if Ronnie got a chance. Just got to be careful you don't put any reds over pockets here with a safety shot. Needed to have quite a thick contact on the bunch. And just to sort of emphasise what I'd said about everything being in the open, okay, he's got a red to right corner, but now there's a bit of pressure on it. Should he miss, could easily leave Ronnie a chance for the counter-attack.
And the usual cries of "come on, Ronnie." But thought it was a possible shot for nothing, but he missed the pot by so far. Came back down the table with the cue ball. Now, Ronnie, first time with his hand on the table.
1.
Could have played that better.
Well, he's got an easy roll up behind the yellow. With the way the reds are, it will not be easy to escape from the snooker and not leave a pot on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Oh, that's a little bit clumsy. Maybe just signs of a little bit of nerves from Ronnie this morning.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. But no one's immune. Not even Ronnie himself. I mean, he'll be feeling it. He just wants to get a good start, get his hand on the table, potting balls. He potted his first one. Poor positional shot. Bit the bullet, played safe. Yeah, I felt he had to hit it that thin. Any thicker, he may have collided into the black, but hitting that thin, he was fortunate in a way. He caught the yellow. At least left the cue ball in the baulk end. Telling safety shot from Pan Junzu there. Ronnie's got to catch this just right. Well, just the flicker on the ground has made it a good safety. Best he's played so far.
Yeah, he's in trouble here, Bang Jun-soo. The red to the left corner looks pretty straight. And, well, if you miss it, you're just bound to leave an opportunity on your opponent. Forced into going for this. That was very difficult.
Yeah, it just shows you the safety shot and leaving that cue ball near the baulk cushion. We'll see it for the next 17 days how important it is. So, good chance again for Ronnie.
1.
It'll take, I mean, he's probably already, by that first shot that he played, that red up for the blue, he'll know what the speed of the table is. No one can suss out conditions quicker than Ronnie O'Sullivan. Played that one beautifully. That very first red to stand up for the blue, that would have given him the information he needed in terms of speed of the table, reaction of the cloth. And as we said before, that 50-point lead
30.
can very quickly evaporate now. Ronnie O'Sullivan is now favourite for this frame.
14.
Yeah, had a quick glance at the black. I don't think the black is going to be potted now. He's got the pink to go out the blue. And that pink going in now puts him just 29 points behind.
20. $21.
Got a quick bounce there off the black cushion. That cue ball shouldn't have been anywhere near where it is.
No, it did seem to leap off it, didn't it? Just made it a little bit more difficult for Ronnie.
27.
But he's just about find the perfect position on the blue. So now the big problem ball, you would think, is the yellow.
32.
It's a type of shot, you don't want to play it with too much pace.
33.
If he gets the perfect angle on the yellow, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Straight is not what he's looking for. He's got the angle.
37.
12 points of difference, up to and including the pink, to take the first frame.
$39.
Well, we said the first couple of shots, he may have felt a little bit of nerves coming out this morning, but as I say, after that very first red, he got the pace of the table, and it's been cue ball perfection ever since in this break. He's made it look easy. Okay, the balls were all there, but in saying that, put the jinx on.
42.
He's decelled a little bit there and not got perfectly on the brown. May have to come 4 cushions here.
Yeah, you've always got to be wary of a kiss on the ball, and that's what he's done. He's kissed the black.
46.
This frame, still very much alive.
Yeah, I thought I may have played topspin off left, right, black cushion, left cushion up for the blue. Chose to stun it in, and the black was always going to be somewhere in the path. Maybe a chance still for Bang Junsu to win this opening frame. It's not an easy safety shot, this.
No, you normally think about cross doubling the blue, but you could knock it over a corner pocket, you could get a double kiss. Not straightforward at all. And of course, having had this chance, he knows the importance now of this first frame for both players, but I think particularly for Ronnie. Beautiful shot. Well worked out. I say particularly for Ronnie, obviously a big favourite in this match, but he needs to stamp his authority on the match early. Don't give the underdog any false hope, so to speak.
yeah, the last thing you want is your inexperienced opponent to start enjoying himself out there. You want them to feel the ultimate pressure. Well, okay, he may not have seen a safety shot to play, but that was a very risky pot to play, because when it's the cut's that thin, if you miss it, you're always liable to leave the object ball over the pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, because where the cue ball's ended up, it's not guaranteed this, because he's got to get a lot of topspin on the cue ball to get it away from the cushion. Yes, the blue's always going to stay over the pocket.
Yes, good pot needed here. And just about on the pink, and the pink gives him the first frame. In it goes. Well, what a very interesting first frame. Pang Junzhu got in first. Good break of 50, but Ronnie with his second chance just couldn't clinch it. But a good blue and pots the pink. 1-0.
1-0, all is well in the world of Pang Junzhu, and all is well in the world with us, because we've come over to our beautiful Winter Gardens home for the first 10 days of this championship. We're settling in nicely with a cup of coffee, and I hope you're enjoying this as much as we are on this opening morning at the Crucible. John, impressions of this young man, because he's been turning up some trees in the last couple of months. He can play.
Yeah, his opening red was an absolute belter. Didn't quite get over the line with his first visit, but Ken played him in qualifier, and we were out for dinner last night. He was saying what a good player he was. I think Ken got an early lead against him and should have gone 4-0 up, didn't, and then after that just was second fiddle to him all the way through. So he's a very competent match player, really good long potter, and it didn't look like he was afraid of Ronnie in the opening frame.
Indeed. Opening impressions, Steve?
Yeah, he's obviously a great player. I mean, you don't qualify unless you're decent these days, but very important for Ronnie to win that frame, because from Ronnie's perspective, you just don't want a player that sort of got his tail up to actually get some grip in the game. So even though it's a best of 19, the first frame of the first round can be so important. Ronnie knows that. He balked at his first chance. He played a poor positional shot on the green to Brown, but he's got the second chance at it. You're always nice to get a frame on the board.
The thing is, the way he won that frame, it wasn't the potting he did there, it was the two safety shots, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He played two he forced him into a shot with the red down the cushion, near the top pocket, I should say, which he couldn't, he was in all sorts of trouble. And then the safety later on off the blue was excellent. So it was the two safeties more than anything. Good match play frame, that was.
He'll never take anyone for granted, obviously, Ronnie, but particularly since you might recall the only other match they've played, and it was a Championship League match. It was only a best of 5, but Pang won it 3-1 with a century and a 70 brig as well. So he's shown what he can do. It's a very different proposition, obviously, in a best of 19, but the defending champion off to a good start.
So Pang Junzhu gets frame 2 underway. Yeah, he won't be disappointed with his first frame. It was just one loose positional shot. When he got near where there was only one red available, he should have left himself a better angle on the black. It seemed a minor thing at the time, but a couple of shots later ran out of position. Got to be on your guard, not lose your focus for a second. That was a pretty good shot, that, from Ronnie, but once again, just catching a baulk colour, and if you catch him full in the face, you leave the cue ball on the baulk line. Your opponent with his hand on the table. Gives them an opportunity to play a better safety shot. I don't think there's a pot on here to tempt him. Well, having said that, he's now having a look at this red to the right corner. Thought better of it, but he's got to be careful in this safety. If he catches this red too thick, he could run into that red near the right cushion. Good line.
No, this is brilliant. Okay, there may be a gap, but the cue ball is, you see, very close to the baulk cushion. Plays every safety shot with some sort of side. Ronnie O'Sullivan very rarely plays plain ball unless the cue ball's tight on the cushion. Again, he's just piling pressure on his opponent with these safety shots. Even though he's left a pot on, you feel you've got to get them. It's the intimidation factor playing Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, he's probably played this and thought the only red he could leave was the one he was playing. Well, he has left it, and he's left a simple starter for Ronnie. He may just play for the black here. Well, decided against it. And probably quite rightly. It was easy to get on the blue, but he'd love the black to be on the spot as soon as possible. You don't have to tell Ronnie how to break Bill, but that would be his intention. Get the black in play.
Six.
After winning the first frame from 50 points behind, you'll be feeling great out there, Ronnie. Any nerves that he might have had coming out this morning will have completely gone.
7.
I think the cushions are just playing slightly quick on this table. And it's a lovely situation where the balls are.
Just giving it that extra bit of thinking time. As we say at the start of this match, he knows the importance of stamping his authority on it. Oh, is that a mistake? He's played for the red to the right of the green.
9.
Can't get to it. Well, I don't like saying careless, because there's no excuse for that, but how on earth is he not on the red?
Yeah, I think if he's misjudging anything at the moment, it's to do with cushions. And there's another misjudgment.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan 9. Pang Junju 4.
I mean, he won't miss this a second time. But yeah, just flicked a little bit of check side on that yellow. And it just came off the cushion in a straight line.
Okay. Fine. Re-rack.
Well, they've looked at one another and said re-rack. Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, in the modern game, they don't like this tipping-tapping. But Ronnie will be there, a little bit frustrated. He had a good chance there, poor positional shot on the yellow. That's what created that situation, but we'll have to start again. Damien Hirst in the audience, hiding away, but big supporter of Ronnie. And Ronnie, as I say, and as Stephen said, just one or two little shots. And I think you were right, apart from the bounce on the cushion, just putting a little bit of unintentional side, maybe still a little bit of tension in the arm.
Yeah, it was an awkward little shot actually, where the green was situated to the left of the red.
Second
it
frame.
wasn't straightforward, but because of Ronnie's pinpoint accuracy with the cue ball, you're surprised when you see these positional errors. But yeah, I think the cushions just look a little bit lively on this table. A little shake of the head from Pang Junsu. He knew he didn't want to leave that red anywhere near the right corner pocket, but he's got a decent cue ball.
And that's why he shook his head.
1.
Tremendous pot. Well, you could play the brown into the middle with lots of pace, screw off the baulk cushion as we see that red again. And he looks like he's playing the brown. Deep screw, got to be accurate. And was, but it didn't run as far down the table, so good shot on the brown, but it'll only get him 4 more points.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 5.
And you see again, played with left-hand side to widen the angle. Playing ball would have gone up the right side of the table, but he wanted the cue ball over the left side as we look to make the return to baulk more difficult. He's playing off the main bunch. This is going to open the reds up, so it needs a good cue ball here.
Very good line, and he did well there. As Stephen said, he was opening all the reds, so good shot needed from Ronnie here to get this cue ball back to baulk. This red is potable, but too risky. Where's the cue ball going? It's okay, good shot. And funnily enough, we know from many occasions when Ronnie complains about his tip, the fact he's playing these safety shots at distance using this side, must have confidence in it, because sometimes if you're not happy with the tip, the throw is all confusing.
All wrong. He's left a red to left middle. And it depends on the angle of red, whether it's easy just to stun up for the blue or not. And it's pretty straight, so he's got to play this with a bit of pace. They're not easy, those, but didn't expect him to miss it.
One.
Not certain where the black will go when it's respotted. That's what Pang Junsu is looking at now. I mean, such is the angle on the black. If he could take a chance, come off the top cushion, carrying into those reds around the black spot, sort of clearing the way for the black to go on its spot and possibly be available. Maybe worth the risk. Funny old game, and he just played the straightforward pot, and I can only assume thought it was unmissable. Believe me, young man, nothing is unmissable at the Crucible.
Yeah, they're losing that first frame. That's a hangover from that, I think.
One.
You can tell by Ronnie's reaction, the contact wasn't good there. Pink and black out of commission, so it's not the most straightforward chance, this.
Eight.
Played that pretty well. It was awkward to get the rest in the position he wanted, and he's landed nicely on the blue. And didn't have to do much with that red in the balk end.
$40. 50.
Getting rid of one of these two reds just below the pink would be advantageous. It will make the pink available into at least a couple of pockets.
$20. 21. $27. 28.
It doesn't need to go into the four reds around the black. He can play the other four reds open with pinks, and that'll be enough to leave his opponent needing a snooker. Not sure if the top red of the four goes to right corner, but as I say, it doesn't need to risk a cannon.
$35.
Probably stun the cue ball into the black cushion here. That red obviously does go, the top one. He's just come up a couple of inches short.
41.
Which means the cue ball's going into the other reds. This can go wrong. And that's maybe the reason why he's moving to this red. More difficult pot. So leaving it alone.
Yeah, he's back to this, as you say, he wanted to be straight. Well, there's no reason why he shouldn't have been straighter. When a player is with pace, you're going to bring everything into play. And the pink
42.
won't go into the corner now because of that red, so he's opened them up, but he's not good on the colour.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 42.
Yeah, it was always going to be a difficult visit. But once he got the pink into play, I was expecting him to get enough points to get to Snooker's required, at least. Well, I know it's early days, Stephen, but that's worrying.
Well, since that lovely 50 break in the first frame, I mean, he doesn't look like he can pot a ball. I mean, there's a long way away from that red there. As you say, that is worrying. And all it does is just make Ronnie feel even more comfortable out there. I think you heard Ronnie sarcastically say close. A long way away from that pot. Another chance for Pang Junsu. As I say, put a couple of these mid-distance balls in that opening break in the first frame. Hit them really well. 2 or 3 long pots he's missed. He's tended to overhit them a little bit, which is a sign of nerves. So let's see how well he hits this one. Yeah, again, he's been very lucky. He's not left a pot, but just overhit it a little bit. You could see a bit of movement. The cue didn't come through smoothly.
Yeah, and of course, Waris is a shock to the system. As Stephen said, he plays in Ding Junhui's academy, and he'd knock them in, what, 99 times out of 100, but you get out here at the Crucible Theatre, debut, and all of a sudden you start to miss a few shots, and you just, well, question your technique.
Yeah, the table just looks different. Everything looks different. All of a sudden, you're just completely out of your comfort zone.
Keep the noise down, please.
Three long pots this morning for Ronnie Sullivan.
Ronnie's shaping to play a left-handed, but he just can't reach. But considering he plays a lot left-handed, he's so good with the rest. That's how good he is. Even me saying that couldn't put him off.
Three. Four.
So this black, one more red, And that shot he played there, that little cannon, was as good a shot he's played this morning so far.
Thanks.
So just the red, and it'll be 2-0. No fireworks yet, though.
Yeah, but a worrying frame from Pang Junsu. This match could very quickly get away from him if he's not careful.
Well,
9 frames this morning. As I say, this match could be over if he doesn't start getting his game back together
90.
and getting a frame on the board.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 90. And the frame.
And he decides, I thought he was coming back to the table, but 65 points behind, just 51 remaining. Enough was enough. 2-0. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
And let's just give you a quick look at the rest of the day, how that's going to pan out, because we've got 3 sessions as normal at the Crucible at 10 o'clock. This is the one you're watching, obviously. Ronnie with the 2-0 lead. Stuart Bingham made a century, a 108 in the opening frame. It's the first of this year's championship. Dave Gilbert has countered with a break of 60, so 1-all in that. The afternoon sessions get underway at 2:30 each day. Luca Brissell is the 9th seed. This is his 6th visit to the Crucible, yet to win a match. Can he get over the line against Ricky Walden, who himself is a former semi-finalist? That's from 2:30. We'll be watching that one. And, of course, the progress of a certain Neil Robertson, the 2010 champion, against the youngest man to make it through, 19-year-old Wu Yizi. From China. He's one of 4 Chinese debutants, 5 Crucible debutants in total. And then this evening, Ronnie and Pang come back to finish off their match. That's the only match that will finish, as is customary, on the opening day. Ali Carter, a 2-time runner-up here at the Crucible, is back after missing the last championship last year. Great to see him back after a terrific season. And he's up against Jack Jones, Welsh debutant, who did for Barry Hawkins, knocked a really great Crucible campaigner out in the final round of qualifying. So that's the menu for today, and there's an awful lot to look forward to, including the match that we're watching so far. Stephen's making the point that Pang has got to get himself on the board here quite quickly, because there's a roller coaster effect here.
Yeah, he dug himself a hole by not winning that first frame from having a good starting lead and a good break. And well, we've got the scars. We know what it's like out there. If you're going to fall to pieces, the Crucible is a wonderful place to fall to pieces, and it can happen very quickly. And 1 minute you're looking okay, the next minute you're just all at sea, and the place just heaps more and more pressure on, or you heap it on yourself, whichever is the case. And Ronnie knows how to sort of help in that department.
Yeah, he's turning the screw a little bit here, isn't he, already, John?
Well, he was bound to do that. I gave him the big build-up, telling him how good he was and what a great long potter and scorer and how well he was. And then he played a frame like that, which was, I mean, honestly, the black he missed at the start of it was just so bad. Then after that, I think the black sort of accentuated everything else. He couldn't put a ball after that. So I'm not surprised he's left the venue. Just go and try and clear his head a little bit, because that was a very poor frame of snooker from him.
When we were in the Crucible earlier this morning, John talked about the sweaty palms on day one, and you weren't even playing, obviously, John. But when you think back to your respective debuts, can you remember what you felt walking out there for the very first time, as Pang did this morning? Albeit he didn't take the normal route, came through the side curtain.
Yeah, what you feel is this is the most unusual place you've ever played snooker in. It just doesn't seem like any other snooker venue on the circuit, or the total opposite of what you're used to in a snooker club. So if you're going to sort of like, feel all at sea in an unusual place, this is it.
I mean, even sitting next to your opponent is unusual, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's one of the things. You come out and you think, my chair should be there, yours should be over there. No, it's not, right next to each other. It's all different.
Okay, back we go, and this young man with a chance in frame 3.
Well, it wasn't the best break-off shot from Ronnie. Pulled his face when he saw what he'd left, Pang Junsu, but couldn't take advantage of it.
It's just beautiful. It really is. It doesn't look a lot, but again, just a trace of run inside. Alex Higgins used to be the same, didn't he, John? He wouldn't play any safety shot playing ball.
No, yeah, we call it sort of help inside, don't it? But you've got to be cueing it smoothly to get the right contact.
Yeah, if he cued that shot, that last shot, a little bit quicker, as you see Pang Junsu finally put one of those long balls. Yeah, you go into the red thick, and you know the cue ball ends up down this end of the table. A little bit unfortunate for the cue ball to end up tight on the side cushion. So that was a nice pot.
Yellow ball. Pang Junju 1.
He's got quite a methodical style, Pang Junsu, in the cue action. It's not something you would say has had a lot of flair about it. So when you are, that type of player, sometimes when you start missing, you can't understand why.
Just stepping back to let Brendan Moore, our referee from Sheffield, just checking the position in case there's a foul and he has to replace the cue ball. There he is, looking very smart on the Saturday morning.
Big target now for Pang Junsu to get the cue ball behind. Brown, yellow, green. Now desperately needs cover, and the cue ball's way short. Poor shot.
Yes, got the red too thick, took the pace out of the cue ball, only just about reached the baulk line, but the thing is, if it's straight, and even if it's not, it's still no guarantee to get good position, and I doubt very much whether Ronnie will want to play for the black. So straightforward red, just deciding which is the value colour to play for. That's the problem with that shot. You put this top spin, and when because after hitting the red, it hits the cushion straight away, it almost turns into backspin, and that's what checked it. So it was never going to be easy to get on a colour, unless he played for the black, and obviously that was never going to be an easy pot. risky blue, is it? Taking it on. Oh, solid, good shot.
Yeah, good, beautifully. Actually, the
Six.
opening red, I think he played that art banana shot, as we call it, for the pink in the right middle, and played it beautifully, just a little bit too hard, but that's a
7.
careless one. There's been kind of bits and pieces in these opening frames from Ronnie O'Sullivan, but this is the first day of, hopefully for him, 17. And just get through this opening round. If you play well, that's a bonus, but just get it out of the way.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 7.
I don't think I ever played my best snooker in the World Championship in the first round. You come here on the first Saturday morning, I think you get the results. The results are the most important thing, and you improve as the tournament goes on.
Yeah, I think with every sport, particularly at the highest level, it's all about consequences, isn't it? And the number of times you've come here as defending champion, and you know that match is going to be finished in one day, isn't it? Morning, evening. And then once you get that out of the way, then you've got the 3 session matches, which will be best of 25. And early on in the match, the mistakes don't seem that big. But they do in the first round. So as you say, it's just get that win. However, which way you can. Too thin, that's why he caught the second red.
Yeah, you'll make mistakes in this first round, sort of unforced errors that you just won't make if you get through into the second round. I know Pang Jun-soo caught that very thin, but the cue ball absolutely flew off the black cushion, which is sort of doesn't make you feel that comfortable.
1.
That was a great shot. Deliberately potted the red in the right side of the pocket as we look, in order to get the angle to be on the pink. Get a view there of Ronnie's action there. He aims down on the cue ball. A lot of the players, most players, have the cue parallel to the bed of the table. He actually aims down.
8.
Just picking up what Stephen was saying about bouncing off the cushions. Of course, the first morning, I mean, yesterday I came into the arena and all the scaffolding was up, the doors were wide open, and it was raining constantly yesterday.
30.
Dampness in the air, so it can affect the run of the table, but everything will settle down.
40.
There's never been anyone better at adapting to conditions than Ronnie O'Sullivan. You never ever see him moan about any of those situations. He just gets on with it. That's another blue to a corner pocket, beautifully struck. Nothing wrong with his game from distance.
90.
6 out of 6 so far in long potting. I say those 2 blues to either baulk pocket have been beautifully struck. So there's not been any one visit wins in terms of big breaks, but his game looks in pretty good shape, you'd have to say.
And that's worked out nicely.
25.
Developed the 3 reds that were in the middle of the table, nicely on one to the right middle.
$26.
I would add to that, his game looks in good shape. He's, at the moment in this match, being put under 0 pressure. So it's a very comfortable morning for Ronnie O'Sullivan at the moment.
31.
Which, as defending champion, is exactly what you want.
32.
Yes, and I think he's old enough and wise enough, Stephen, as you would have been, that don't take it for granted. Don't think, well, the fella's not playing, so I've nothing to do. You've got to keep concentrating, keep that focus.
37.
Don't give him an inch.
No, it's another thing that I think Ronnie's the best at is when a player's there to be beat convincingly. He beats them convincingly. You see, a lot of the top players, they go ahead quick and then they take their foot off the gas in terms of concentration and then maybe let their opponent back in, but he keeps his foot on the pedal the whole time. His opponent won't win any more frames than sort of Ronnie gives him, if you understand what I mean. You can see Pang in his chair almost in admiration watching Ronnie. That's a dangerous thing as well.
41.
Just bounced off that second cushion a little bit more, and well, this red isn't a certainty. 47 points to the lead. Red, cover red, still required.
Yes,
42.
Pang Junsu in his chair, and he's watching Ronnie. He's not focusing on the table, the match. He's just he just looks in awe. Which, as I say, you're out there to win a match. You can't afford to think like that.
48.
Just the red needed. So doesn't have to play it with any great pace. This took a 55 points in front with just 51 remaining. Ooh, just managed to drop in. I think any more
49.
pace and it wouldn't have done.
Yeah, this was a new cloth shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, we always say with the new cloth. And the cloth and the cushions, they do slide in a little bit more than they would do in the next
55.
couple of days.
56.
That knocked 3 times, but knew the password.
$61.
Well, what's Ronnie going to treat us to here? Where's the cue ball going?
Foul.
Oh, well, I don't think it'll matter.
504. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 61.
Well, he's coming back to the table. Maybe he just feels as though he needs to get his hand on the table and try and pot a few balls. He's 63 points behind. There's just 43 remaining.
Yeah, there's no way he's winning this frame, but I don't think it's a bad idea, to be fair, because he's, after that first frame 50, he's just been totally out of sorts. He needs some way of finding a bit of rhythm in his cue action.
Thanks.
So this was the chance he was looking for. Had no hopes of winning this frame, but just wanted to get an opportunity to pot a few balls. See if we can get that Q arm going again.
1.
Bright start, first frame, but nothing since. Playing for the double.
8.
Well,
Bang Junju, 8.
that does surprise me.
Yeah, the reason you play on when you need that many snookers is to try and pot some balls. So I don't see the point of playing more safety shots. That was a chance, as you say, to play the double, maybe clear the rest of the colours.
Yeah, well, he obviously has got aspirations to win the frame.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Won't be getting any of my money. I mean, the colours are pretty well situated for snookers, but I am a little surprised he's playing on. Difference 55, 35 remaining. I mean, if you got to a situation where one snooker and possible free ball, that'd be enough, but it's not going to be enough. Talking about Ronnie O'Sullivan, whose ringcraft is as good as anyone that's ever played the game, so forlorn hope for me. And I can only think it's just the disappointment of what's happened the last couple of frames.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not going to get inside Ronnie's head by doing this, because as you say, John, Ronnie's far too experienced. I can only think he just wants shots at the table. Because he's played so many bad shots since that first half of the first frame, that you never really feel, if you play a couple of good shots in a row, you feel a bit better. So even if I can only think what he's thinking, play a couple of good safety shots or strike the cue ball nicely, might take some sort of inspiration to the next frame. But that fluke will end this frame now.
I think the one thing that has impressed me, and you've mentioned it a couple of times in these first 3 frames, is Ronnie's potting has been very clean, and that's always a good sign for any snooker player. Green doesn't go in, but that will be enough. So without any great fireworks, Ronnie O'Sullivan will be very pleased when he looks at the scoreboard. 3-0.
You sure will, John. Serene progress so far from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Very focused, very calm, really dialed in, it would appear. And Stephen and John making some very cogent observations there, not least about how Pang looks slightly mesmerised at times in that frame against the Rocket, didn't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not because Ronnie's absolutely flying, but it's the moment, it's the event and the occasion. And yeah, I think for Pang to get a bit of normality back, just play a few safety shots, nothing wrong with that. But impressive, Ronnie O'Sullivan, the first frame, how he didn't panic. Some players, especially in the situation of being the expected winner of the tournament even, have just frozen in those headlights. So to win that first frame for Ronnie O'Sullivan, even though it didn't look that much, was very important.
In terms of the pressure that he's under, we know the amount of pressure last year was extraordinary because the equaling Stephen was such almost a career-defining moment for him, just to get there. Now, how would you contrast the nature of the pressure that he's under now, John?
Well, he'll want to do it. That's absolutely for certain, that he'll want to get to win 8 championships so he can be the GOAT, the greatest of all time. We all think he's the greatest player we've ever seen anyway, but it'll prove it in the history books if he wins his 8th championship. So there's pressure there. Don't worry about that. He'll be under it because it'll be on himself. He'll have expectations. That's what he'll be trying to do.
Maybe in another way, even more so, the expectation as people, as if it's a procession, which it just isn't.
No.
Yeah.
So maybe he doesn't this year. But I think possibly he's got a few more cracks at it. But it could be the weight of it could get on him. But
it's
not in that first frame.
No, not at all. I mean, back to back, it's a different proposition, isn't it? But we are going to quickly go back to this one because we've only got a few seconds left of this programme. Because we have, gentlemen, 82 programmes in total between now and the final session of the final on the 1st of May. Did you know that, John?
I'm going for a lie down.
Not quite yet. We're only just beginning to get going. So, as I say, we're coming to the end of the first of those 82 programmes from the Championship. But as ever, let me remind you that coverage continues of both matches in every single session live, either on the red button or the BBC iPlayer or the BBC Sport website. Every single ball is available, whether we're with you on terrestrial or not. Well, we will be back with you on BBC One at 1:15 this afternoon to catch up on this match, and then live play from 2:30 as the brilliant Australian Neil Robertson makes his opening bow at the Crucible this year. So thank you for your company on this opening morning. We'll catch you again on the opening afternoon. See you soon. Bye for now.